I grew up 60 years ago in Sioux Falls, then a very white town. After law school during the 1980s, I worked in tax departments of national accounting firms in Boston, where all my colleagues were white like me. When I left Boston and came to Minneapolis, I became a community activist, and I eventually ran for the school board. After being elected in 1999, I moved into a radically new environment for me. For the first time in my life, I was working with dozens of Black professionals. As I developed friendships with my Black colleagues, I learned about our different experiences in America. One of my fellow board members, a Black minister, shared with me that after waiting with his daughter for her school bus on a recent morning, he'd stopped in a store. And while waiting in the store's checkout line, a policeman came up behind him and asked him to step outside. The officer wanted to talk to him because there'd been a robbery. And my friend fit the robber's description. He was a tall, Black man. My friend alerted the officer that he had a phone in his back pocket, so the officer wouldn't mistake it for a weapon. And my friend explained that he was a minister, and at the time that the robbery would have occurred, he'd been waiting with his daughter for her school bus. He was on that corner every school morning, and he invited the officer to look for him there the next morning. The next day, the Golden Valley police chief called my friend and apologized. At the time I heard my friend's story 20 years ago, I was upset about the racial profiling. But I was also impressed at how my friend and the police chief seemed to make what had started out all wrong, right. The police chief called to apologize. My friend showed grace and forgiveness, even golfed together. My friend's encounter with the police chief ended well, as if it had been a minor misunderstanding. How little I knew then. I had no idea how regular, humiliating, and dangerous these types of police encounters can be for Black men. Since Ferguson, after watching video after video of police murders of Black men, I have learned that it is dangerous to be a Black man in America. George Floyd's murder this summer in Minneapolis is the most recent and tragic example, and it led to worldwide protests and rioting. I'm now retired from the practice of law, and I focus my work on racial justice issues, including police reform. It's the most important thing I think I can do right now to work for peace in our city and our country. This I believe.